Hello folks, it's Flu here. Yes, Flu, not fluorescent FIFA. I shall explain. This is just going to be another basic commentary. We're going to go straight into a Seasons Cup match with Benfica while I talk. And this is going to be a little bit about FIFA itself. Given that this is... we'll go with that. Given that this is obviously historically a FIFA channel, this is a slight change. Some of you will probably have noticed the name change and the, well, logo is probably a generous word, but logo change. The main reason for that is that whatever I'm going to be doing with YouTube, I don't really know all of what I'm going to be doing with YouTube, but is very much not going to be isolated to FIFA anymore, one way or another. Or at the very least, it makes sense no longer to have a channel name that is kind of restricting me to be FIFA exclusive in a way. Well, not restricting me, but you know what I mean. Makes it come across as if I'm FIFA exclusive. What else is going to come along, if anything? I don't know, but it's more to give myself the option. Thank you to everybody who has dropped likes, subscribed, left comments on previous videos that have gone around the last couple of days. If you haven't seen the video that went up a couple of days ago, it was either called One More Time or One More Try, can't remember what I called it, and you're someone who was familiar with this channel back in the day, I suggest you go and watch that. It may be worth you doing that first so that I don't end up spoiling it in any way what I'm about to talk about. I had a lot of fun making that video, so for those, I'm going to assume you've done that now if you really want to. So for those who've seen it, you will know that the Road to Manual Mastery series, which was easily my best series on YouTube, is making a comeback of sorts. It's changing slightly to the Road to Manual Mastery, but that will be very much the similar, same kind of deal as was done back in the day. Bike it, no, that's no good. So that will be a co-op seasons, but kind of Road to Division 1 type series. And we're going to see how that goes. I'm not going to say much more than that. The first episode will be a kind of, well, I say first episode, there will be an episode which is more kind of a prologue type episode. That was rubbish. And then we'll get where I'll kind of just do a recap of things like manual controls and how to set them up and so on for people maybe who aren't familiar. Just as a kind of slightly more up-to-date FIFA 18 version of that, because the videos that I made from back on FIFA 12 for this stuff, which still get a few views now and again, actually, surprisingly, because I don't think there's much else out there about it. But I will do an updated version of that, and then we will get stuck into the series proper. And I will be revealing things like who I'm playing with, and so on. And, yeah, it will be the first series I've done in 5 years, and part of the reason for that is that I actually, since FIFA 13, which was the last time I was doing YouTube properly, I haven't really played FIFA very much until this FIFA. So I did get FIFA 14 when it came out, because that came out along with the new consoles, the new generation of consoles towards the end of 2013. And I got an Xbox One, so I'm still an Xbox guy. And FIFA 14 was the free game with that, because it was one of the few games that kind of came out with those consoles release. So that was why I ended up getting FIFA 14, and I didn't like it very much. The main mode I played on that was Pro Clubs, as was the main mode in a lot of my games, really, in a lot of my FIFAs. And I really didn't enjoy FIFA 14, and then because I wasn't doing the YouTube and stuff, I just took a break from FIFA, so I didn't get FIFA 15 at all. I've only ever played FIFA 15 once, which was against one of my housemates, and it was absolutely horrific. I thought it was an absolutely terrible game. Admittedly, 1 or 2 games isn't all that much of a chance to find out, but I thought it was utterly horrendous, and didn't play it. I got talked into getting FIFA 16, because I got told it was better, only to find out that it was actually rubbish. So, I think I probably played in total about 10 to 20 matches of that. That was honestly about it. And what I actually did was switch to Pro Evo. So I switched to Pro Evo in 2016. I thought it was actually pretty good. I quite liked it. I used to play Pro Evo. My FIFA fandom, for want of a better word, oh, how is that missed? Started with FIFA '09, I think. I played FIFA a bit when I was younger. I'd had a couple of the very old FIFA games, but I switched to PES around 2008 because I got something like a demo of that, enjoyed it, because I used to be a PC gamer back in the day, as opposed to consoles. So I enjoyed Pro Evo and got that, and then I converted to FIFA with FIFA '09 and especially FIFA 10. And FIFA 10 is where I discovered manual. And yeah, switching back to PES was weird, but good fun. And I did think that game was quite good, but it had a couple of really irritating problems that kind of killed it for me a bit. Goalkeepers on that game were absolutely horrible. It was so easy to score past them, even on manual. And the free kicks and card system and so on was an abomination because you could basically commit murder, and if you were unlucky, you'd get a yellow card, and you just never ever got people sent off. The AI never gave away penalties, so I probably didn't play that game all that much, maybe 100 matches in total, something like that. And then that was pretty much it for me for football games. I didn't really play any until I picked up FIFA 18. And mainly on FIFA 18, I have been playing the Pro Clubs mode again because there are a number of problems with this game for me. FIFA's, and all kidding aside, as much as I used to joke about this back in the day and make fun of this back in the day, FIFA has never been what you'd say is a really bad game. It never has been. What it isn't, and doesn't try to be in most regards, is a very, very realistic simulation of football. Now, at the end of the day, some of that makes complete sense. I'm really enjoying this guy just passing it around backwards the whole time. This is kind of funny. It is not a realistic simulation, but that kind of makes sense because, they need to make the game play in such a way that people will still score goals and that people will still, have opportunity and create chances without making it play at the pace of real football. But then I think it's a case of you have game modes for that, and obviously I haven't played Ultimate Team on this one, so I don't know what it's like, but Ultimate Team is always a much more fast-paced and, crazy sort of style of football where you do end up with games with goal upon goal upon goal. And it's a shame that seems to have, over a few FIFAs while I've been gone, I guess, spilled over into the other games. Those are the most ridiculous match stats I've ever seen. 97% pass accuracy. But the ball's only been in my third for 14% of the game. I don't understand what the point is of him playing. But, on a lot of modes, and especially with manual, and if you're not someone who plays manual, you probably won't be so familiar with these, but there are some errors and basic problems that have been around in FIFA for years. I remember them being around in FIFA 13 that still haven't been fixed because the audience for of people who use manual controls is so small. And, it's things like player switching is still very unreliable. That's terrible control. Player switching is still very unreliable, and a lot of times you'll play a pass and it will pick the wrong person to come and get it, even if players end up jumping over it so that a player will get the ball. And it's things like that that make this game very frustrating to play on manual. I wouldn't honestly, and this sucks that I say this, I'm not sure I would recommend to people to play this game on manual. Because it just has these flaws that just haven't been addressed. It's playable, but it's annoying as hell a lot of the time, which is why the Road to Manual Mastery series is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. We have actually played quite a bit of that, so I have a vague idea of at least how it starts in terms of whether or not we do well or not. But as I say, it is... Oh, that's rubbish. But it is a bit of a difficult game to get on with, and mainly I haven't touched Ultimate Team. I don't dare go near it because I know I'll probably just get annoyed. And even Seasons, playing against Assisted, I think if I tried to do the Road to Division 1 thing against Assisted on this, I would struggle hugely. Because it's a much harder game on manual than previous years. The way that players react to the ball is so inconsistent that it just means you have to be much more accurate with your passes than you used to, and it's hard enough being accurate on manual as it is. Ugh, close. It's hard enough being accurate on manual as it is, and this game just kind of accentuates the problems. I, live in hope that there will be a really good realistic football game one day. I've heard PES is actually decent this year, but still lacks, obviously, licenses aren't a major deal, and lacks game modes that I like a Pro Clubs game mode. The actual main reason I bought FIFA 18 was because the game included my good old local team. So some of you may remember that. I sort of support two teams. I supported Liverpool when I was, very young and first got interested in football. They were the team I gravitated towards, which upset my dad quite a lot because he was a Man United fan. So he regretted introducing me a bit, I think. And I also took, over the years, an interest in my local team, Lincoln City. So for those who don't know or aren't familiar, I grew up in. I wasn't born there, but I grew up in Lincoln, which is, if you're not from the UK, it's a lot of people in the UK don't know where it is. It's kind of near the east coast of England, in the centre, vertically. So it's a city with about 100,000 or so people, and they made headlines around the world last year because they got to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, and this was. And they are now in the 4th tier of English football. They were in the 5th tier of English football, and they were the first team from that division to do that in basically forever. Nobody alive had ever seen that happen. Because they went on a run where they beat several teams in the earlier stages that were ranked above them in the divisions. So I think they beat Oldham, who were 2 divisions above them, Ipswich, who were 3 divisions above them. They beat Brighton, who were 3 divisions above them, are obviously now in the Premier League. They beat Burnley, who were in the Premier League, and then eventually went to the Emirates Stadium. They got to play Arsenal in the quarterfinals, but there's an example of that player switching I was on about. My guy wouldn't head it. Played Arsenal in the quarterfinals at the Emirates Stadium, and I was there that day to watch them, unfortunately, get absolutely hammered. And frankly, Lincoln were lucky; it only finished 5-0. But they got promoted out of the division they were in, and as a result, by being back in the 4th tier, got to be back on the game of FIFA for the first time since FIFA 11. It was a long time away. I remember playing career mode. Oh, it's an awful pass. I remember playing career mode games as Lincoln back in the day. But I don't play career mode all that much anymore. I did have a go at career mode with Lincoln on this one for a while. I got quite far. I got into the league above. I probably played about 50 matches. But then got a bit bored of it because I'm just never a fan of playing against the AI. I much prefer to play against human players. Tackle. But that was, as I say, that was the main reason why I actually got FIFA. And then as a result, I've ended up with the itch to come back to YouTube for a bit now. Have some fun. At the time recording this, depending on when this goes out, it might go out on the day, hopefully. Lincoln are actually scheduled to be playing at Wembley on Sunday, which is the first time in the club's history in what's called the Checkatrade Trophy Final. It's basically a cup competition, but only for teams in the 3rd and 4th tier of English football, and well, controversially this year, some under-21 teams from like Premier League clubs and stuff. But Lincoln have made it all the way to the final, which means that they get to play at Wembley. So I'll be there this Sunday, seeing them take on Shrewsbury, which should be good fun. Because I've only ever been to Wembley once, and that was not to see Lincoln. So I'm very much looking forward to that. What's he doing? But you might have noticed, I mean, going back to FIFA, I mean, you might have noticed in the last, this game and the game before where I did the commentary, it's hard to string stuff together. And this is what I'm talking about with things being hard on manual. That's a goal. Oh, what a save. Oh, I thought that was that. So that's also part of why, if I'm going to be doing YouTube a bit more regularly, and I still don't know what kind of schedule I'm going to have, that I want to move away from FIFA, because it's just, I'm not a huge fan of the game this year. Great ball. Oh, no! I should score. This might have to go to extra time. But I don't know. I don't know what previous FIFAs have been like in the last 3 years, really, because I never played them extensively enough. And even this one, I haven't. I've mainly played pro clubs. I don't play much 1v1. And the thing I've noticed, since we're going to have some extra time here, the thing I've noticed is that the manual community in particular on FIFA 18 is an awful lot smaller than it was on the old FIFAs. I suspect an element of that has probably got something to do with maybe the move to the next-gen consoles. I don't know for sure, but I would hazard a guess that maybe a percentage of people might have moved away from Xbox to PlayStation. It's just a guess. I suspect I probably did have a little bit, but only a very little bit of influence on the size of the manual community in previous FIFAs, but I doubt it was all that big of an impact. But I think it was just very disappointing the first time I logged on to play a 1v1 game on this FIFA, and the number of people who'd played a manual match on the leaderboards, because there is a separate manual leaderboard on seasons, but the number of people on that leaderboard was something like 600, and I know that in the older FIFAs it was several thousand, so it was a real shame to see that the community had gone so small. And as I say, because of the fact that manual is, and it feels weird to say manual is harder, but it just is, genuinely. I think because of that, the standard of manual players overall isn't very high, because I haven't played many matches 1v1 manual in season, maybe about 15, but when you throw in that and friendlies and everything, I haven't really... I've barely had what you'd call a really good game. Certainly in the ranked seasons matches, I haven't lost yet. And the one loss I do have on my record was against Assisted, because I accidentally didn't put the filter on. So that's just a shame that it's kind of crumbled a bit. But until EA, or if EA ever bother to try and make manual a bit more of a thing and fix the problems that it's had for such... get it out! Had for such a long time, I don't really see the motivation to get people to play it, because it is not it is just not really a mode that is properly working as it should, and that's disappointing, because I do think manual is an awful lot of fun when it's kind of all working and good. And it feels weird to say that FIFA 13, FIFA 13, I kind of forgive it for everything, almost. Maybe not quite. But that's a stupid pass. But I do think as well, and I've said before, I'm 27 years old now. I'm long past caring, what controls people use. People can use what they like, and whatever. I don't care anymore. I'm not going to say that people are better because they use manual anymore, or I don't care anymore. I really don't. I think it's just a shame that it seems like Assisted has got easier. The number of what I'd call silly goals. Yeah, and when I say silly, I'm not talking, he's had a shot from distance. Shots from distance happen, but the number of just plain absolutely ludicrous goals that make zero physical sense seems to have gone up significantly on this, especially on the pro clubs mode, and that's a shame, because I don't think you necessarily have to. I'm not saying that they should take Assisted away. Assisted makes complete sense and is absolutely necessary. It would just be nice if it was slightly, less reliable and more difficult to use. I think that would make for a much more interesting game for everybody, not just for manual players, for everybody involved. But I don't see it happening anytime soon. Right, I feel like scoring a goal. Should we go score a goal? That didn't work. Worth a try. I don't want penalties. But yeah, so the overall story is that, I have no idea whether or not I'll get FIFA 19. I'll probably just wait and see whether or not it's actually genuinely an improvement. Because I think I probably, if I'd properly given this a try before I started it, I probably wouldn't have bothered. That's terrible dribbling. There are some bits about this I do like. I like that they've finally... The one thing they have finally added to manual is the ability to do really short little tapped passes, which is something that was in PES years ago and was missing from... that's not right. And has been missing from FIFA for ages. That's good addition. Ugh. I actually really like the shooting system on this on manual as well. I think it's very fair if you get your aim right. Oh, no. Oh, hold it off. But yeah, overall, I'm not a fan. So who knows? Who knows what the future holds in terms of YouTube? Whether or not I'll bother with FIFA. As I say, the Road to Manual Mastery Series, the Road to Manual Mastery Series. That's not the easiest thing to say, in truth. Kick it. Yeah, that will be coming along soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Get rid of it. I'm just trying to concentrate because I just don't like losing. No! Keeper. I'm no good at penalties on this game either. Ah! Alright, well, it's going to have to be penalties, I'm afraid. They changed the penalty. I don't know what... I'm not very up to date on exactly which bits that are now different in FIFA changed. I know penalties changed at some point, but as I say, I'm absolutely rubbish with them on this game, even with an arrow helping me. Even Jonas can't score a penalty. That's upsetting. That's very upsetting. Oh, okay, at least I saved his. But yeah, it's the penalties thing is annoying because even if you place it like perfectly, the keeper will still save it if they dive the right way, which is dumb. Really, it should be that well, the arrow should be off for a start. You shouldn't be able to have the arrow on. I know it sort of gives you the option, but let's try run up and see if it fools him. It was an awful penalty. Not lucky. Yeah, it's just too down the middle. Yeah, it's just too easy to save it if you go the right way some of the time. It's like I'll try and put this right in the top corner, and I bet if he guesses the right way, he'll save it. Well, I wasn't anywhere near the corner, and he went the wrong way anyway. Hey, I might win after all. Ah, yeah. Not brave enough to go down the middle here. We'll go top left. Oh, that's going over the bar. Oh, that was a brilliant penalty. All right. Well, I'll take the win. So yeah, I don't know how many more of these little things I'm going to do. This was more intended to be something to kind of tide people over until the Road to Manual Mastery series starts proper. So as I say, keep your eyes out for that. It is coming soon, but I am not going to tie myself to a schedule just because I've been burned by doing that in the past. But I promise something is on the way, and it will get here when it gets here. So yeah, I'm sorry the match wasn't. Oh, God. Let's find out. Go on. Humour me. Bad rep. I have no idea what he's talking about. Oh, well. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. If you've made your way all the way through this, I'm sorry the match wasn't a bit more interesting. He was being very strange in the first half. And, yeah, hopefully I will see you guys again soon. So this has been Flu, and I will see you soon.